everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a art journal page, a mixed media art journal page that I made during the Art Joy of Sharing live stream pop-up. Today's Monday. We don't usually live stream on Monday, but while everyone is at home and needs things to watch, we've been doing a few pop-up live streams. So this page is out of my art journal habit little handmade journal that I made last year. There's a few pages left because I didn't finish all the prompts last year during November. And so I pulled out this page because it has kind of the Eastery, springy colors on it. Plus it has a basket weave pattern that I made when I was gel printing by weaving together cardboard and then using it as a print thing on my gel plate. I don't know if I can find that video, but if I can, I'll put it in the iCard so you can watch how I did that. I'm not sure I'll be able to find it though. It's pretty random. So it has kind of this basket weave on the background, which in the final project doesn't really show up that much, but it's what inspired me to grab that particular one because, you know, Easter, baskets, basket weave, spring, you know, but it was so literal and so dark that I wanted to do some collage over the top first. So I have some napkins and some homemade paper and some weird old paper, and just I'm layering translucent things over the top of each other. Like I like layering the translucent looking napkin flower over the text paper and over the colored paper. It's interesting, and I just kept doing that until I was happy with the page having less of a literal basket print on it. You know, it was like, this is, I don't know. I like it, but I didn't want it to be the focal of the whole thing. On the live stream today, our theme was bunnies because of Easter and everything. I love bunnies. I have quite a few different videos on my channel where I've done different bunnies, and I'll look for them and try to post them in the end screen, links to them in the end screen or the iCards, so that you can go look at those bunnies too. I have a weird relationship with bunnies, but I have a lot of them in my backyard, and I like to watch them, and they're cute and funny, and then sometimes they chew on my plants, which make me a little bit mad. So that's my kind of weird. Um, I don't know. I think they're cool, and they're very springy, and it's just fun. So after I was done with my collage, I first used a graphite pencil, but it wasn't working very well over the collage because it was still a little bit tacky and wet. I dried it, but I didn't get it super dry. So then I switched over to my Stabilo All pencil. That one will write over anything. It's softer and it's very water reactive. I was trying to go for something that wasn't water reactive at first, and that's the reason that I picked a graphite. But I ended up using the Stabilo pencil to draw my bunny. It's a hare, really, more than a bunny because it's got the long ears. And he's kind of sitting on his side looking over at you with a side eye. Like, yeah, I'm going to eat your plants. Nothing you can do about it. My animals tend to, come out with a little bit of attitude sometimes. But I guess this counts as my animal portrait for the month because I drew an animal and I made a portrait. So, hey, I'm getting something done. I've really, really lost my mojo. All this changes of having everyone at the house all the time and having to cook all the time and cleaning and making sure that, everything is the best that I can do for my family has just made me tired. And I haven't had a lot of extra time to I mean, I do have extra time, but I'm not interested in doing art. So I haven't been making very many videos, and I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to work in a little bit on another project that'll be coming up later in the month. I think we're going to do it as a Zoom. A Zoom is like a meeting where you can meet a lot of different people in one thing and talk while you're working. And I'm going to join that and try to work on another project today because I just need to get some things done. I just need to just do it and stop whining about how things are and just do it. So the next thing that I did after I drew my bunny and I drew some like little plants because, a bunny needs something to eat and they like to eat plants. And so it needed to have plants. It needed to have ground on which to sit on. I get very adamant that things need to have a ground of some sort, a horizon line or something, so that they're not just floating in air. So I made sure that that was on there. And then I decided to push back the background. Sometimes this is called reverse painting. Sometimes it's called exclusion, is what I call it, excluding the background so that the foreground stands out. And I liked all the pattern that I put on there, the things that I collaged, all the flowers and the different stuff. I didn't want to obliterate that. I mixed a little bit of white gesso with some Naples yellow acrylic paint and a little bit of quinacridone nickel azo gold paint, which is a rusty color transparent paint. And I'm using a water brush so that everything is staying very loose and wet so that I can paint and not like completely take out the background. I still want the pattern to show through. I still want to be able to see some of it when I really look. That's the thing that's interesting to me about mixed media is the layers. There's so many layers, and at first you look at this and you say, oh, there's a bunny. But then if you look closer, you see that there's so much other pattern and interest underneath and around, and your eyes can go and look through the layers and see everything that was put on there. And that's interesting to me. That's fascinating to me. That's what I like about it. That's the reason I do mixed media. So, all about the layers, um, not obliterating the layers, but pushing them back and, forcing them into the background using these paints. At first, I painted the whole background with that. It ended up being kind of an off white, loose, watery off-white color, making sure that you can see the definition of the bunny, see the definition of the leaves. And then I came back in and added a little bit more of the Naples yellow in some places to make it a little bit more warm. Um, I wanted it to be warm. I wanted it to be to represent where I live is very warm and lots of warm colors, rusts and oranges and yellows and dusty greens, and those are the kind of the colors I was inspired to use today. Peg's bunny turned out very different than mine. Hers is more realistic, and she was inspired by a photo that she printed off of Unsplash. Unsplash.com is a place that you can get photos to use in your art that are not copyrighted. They're royalty free, they're free to use, and people upload their photographs. And then if you're inspired by one of them, you can, uh, you know, use it without fear of retribution in your art. So she printed out a picture of this really cute short-eared bunny, and then she painted her version of it. And so her colors and shapes are very different than mine. That's what's interesting about our live stream is that you get two different artists' interpretation of what the theme is, which this time was bunnies. And so you get two very different looking bunnies. If you'd like to watch the live stream in recorded real time, I will put the link to that in the end screen. At the very end of the video, you can click on the link and it'll take you over to the recorded live stream. You can see it in real time. Some of you like to watch in real time. A lot of people from my channel like to watch in speed. So that's the reason that I make speed. So this one's, 4 times fast. That's how fast it is. Took it about an hour and a half and a little bit shorter actually. And it's down to, I think, 17 minutes or something. So once my background was done with my yellow and my off-white, then I'm going to start focusing on some of the features of the foreground. So now I want to bring things forward. Before I was pushing everything back. Now I'm bringing things forward. And the way that I do that is to add shadow and highlight. Still not obliterating the background. In fact, the bunny has a lot more of the background peeking through than the background does. It's a lot of times saying background, wasn't it? Uh, yeah. I brought some Neocolor 2 water soluble crayon out. It has colors. And I'm adding pinks to the ears. I'm adding browns and rusty colors to some areas of the bunny. I'm adding white to where the little face of the bunny is, where it has those little, the muzzle, I guess it's called, where it's very light around its muzzle. Pink to the nose, white to the tail. And I'm just continuing to add color and shadow and highlight as I'm going. And this, of course, is all going to be water soluble because these are crayons. I'm also adding some green to the leaves just to make, not to push away what's in the background. I want to keep it. I just want to make almost like a, I guess I'm sort of glazing is what it is. I'm using a water soluble product over the top and kind of glazing a color because when you glaze, it's translucent and whatever is behind it shines through. But it just kind of changes the tint or the tone of whatever you put it over. So that's what I'm doing. Then I'm getting some opaque paint, and this is a white Posca pen. Posca pens are acrylic paint inside of a pen, and it's very opaque, and I can use that to really, really punch up areas that I want to come forward, like the brow of the bunny, the muzzle of the bunny, this leg that is the one that it uses to spring and bounce. And I'm just picking the ink from the pen up with my water brush and painting it on. So it does thin it down and make it a little bit less crazy, but really gives me that bringing forward of the highlight. Then I'm using my black Posca pen to go back over some of the illustration lines and make them scribbly. This is supposed to be a fun piece with lots of movement and interest, and the very straight lines aren't about movement and interest, and so I'm going and adding some kind of scratchy, scribbly lines around and making the bunny stand out even more, and making sure that the eyes are dark, making the lines between the toes, all those type of things, and then coming back in with a highlight in the eye because a bunny's eyeballs are round and they actually almost kind of protrude a little bit. So you want to make sure that you got that look by using highlight. I really made them dark. At first I had them like a dark blue color because lots of times when a sunlight hits the cornea of an eye, it gives kind of almost like a milky blue color. So I had them that color, but then I ended up going back and putting a lot more dark black in there and then the highlight. So then I decided a little bit more pattern wouldn't hurt anybody, and I was, looking for something to do. So I drew in some little patterns, a spiral. I always think about spirals when I think about the leg that springs on a bunny. I don't know, spirals seem like the right shape. I like spirals too. So I put some dotty spirals and circles, and then I put a heart with the dots with the white Posca pen on the chest and some more like round circly dotty things just to make it more interesting, just for fun. And yeah, I went back in, I added some more scratchy lines with the white Posca pen, this time not diluting it and just going and making scratchy lines. You'll be able to see all this really well in the close-ups at the end of the video, so don't click off the video till you see the close-ups. And of course, if you are enjoying this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below. I will answer you usually within 24 hours. And of course, you can share this or pin it on Pinterest. If you know somebody who really loves bunnies, you might want to share it with them. And yeah, all those things really help my channel by helping other people find me, helping YouTube realize that I'm making something valuable, which helps them recommend it, which helps other people find me, like that. I say it every video, but I'm still going to say it because maybe there's somebody brand new that's never met me before. So that's pretty much it. I did go back in and do some direct to the paper crayon over the leaves again to give them even a little bit more of that bright spring green. And I added some more black with my Stabilo pencil, and then I was done. So that's it for me for today. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.